Good afternoon, people. Good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey. I hope you all are doing well. Yes, I have in front of me my computer, my desktop, and I am watching the Johnny Depp trial. It's a defamation trial, and that he has against his. I'm not sure if they actually divorced, but his wife. And I saw part of it early this morning, and it had me thinking. Yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, viewer. Good afternoon. Yeah, it's on my heart right now. Yeah, it's playing right in front of me, but I put it on mute. Um, I want to talk about um, violence, domestic violence, um, and relationships as it pertains to this trial with Johnny Depp. I used to be a Johnny Depp fan in way back 30 plus years ago. Yeah, I like Johnny Depp. I like his movies. His I liked him on 21 Jump Street. Um, I thought he looked adorable. Um, but it had me thinking, like, I was in my early 20s. We're about 6 months apart. I'm actually older than him. Um, but I started thinking, like, when I watched part of the trial this morning, I said, wow, you know, and I felt heavy hearted. And I started thinking back when I was younger, when, you know, we were all getting older. And I remember him as a young fellow on 21 Jump Street. That was a TV series that came out in 1987, around, no, yeah, around 1987, 89. Yeah, I was in the military then. And I was in the Navy back then, and we had a lounge. And the men and women's quarters are separate. And I remember we had a TV lounge and we were watching it. And the show was on. And so I think it came on like at 7 something in the evening. And I remember I would uh, run outside. We had a McDonald's on the base. And I would get soft ice cream. I may have put some chocolate, have the dip in chocolate. I forget. But yeah, so I'll bring it back as a treat. And, oops, sorry. Yeah, I would eat it as a treat while I watch Johnny Depp on TV. Um, then I started thinking, how we judge people. I was I'm not the same person as back then, but in many ways the same. Um, I was very, how do you say? I lived in a world that for me to survive, um, I thought if I just followed the rules, I wouldn't have problems. I lived in a very strict environment growing up, outside of the military. This was before military. Um, I lived in fear and anxiety, and so you start to just think in terms of good and bad, yes or no, just a lot of polarity. And I used to think that certain things, I was taught, society taught me that certain things are innately bad, and it's your job to be good. And I thought, okay, I don't want any more trouble. Um, so let me just try to be perfect. Let me just try to be good. Let me try to just stay out of people's way, and maybe I won't be noticed. maybe I'll dodge a bullet. Yeah, I was exposed to violence. I was exposed to things in my home. My parents' home growing up. I felt trapped, and I didn't know. We back then there was no such thing as we know today as the internet. Um, to look up about resources. Um, I was limited with information and knowledge. Um, and I just try to stay in isolation a lot of times. Um, what else? But yeah, I was very, I think, very legalistic, and I'm still in part legalistic. But I see that, see, when you're on guard and when you're living in an environment where you feel you're being judged, you just try to find the easiest way and uh, trying to be perfect, trying to not make waves, and trying to please others. That was my coping mechanism. Well, with Johnny Depp now, I'm trying to tie this in. Um, I remember judging him like back in those days in the 1980s. They were back then like teen magazines, and I remember I bought one. I don't know what he was on the cover, but um, I knew that he was in that magazine. And I remember I bought the magazine. I was reading it in my birthing area, and I was reading about it. I didn't read a lot um, actually in those days, but I wanted to find out everything about Johnny Depp, the guy on TV. And I remember judging him. It's really something now that I felt this way. Well, I should say I was programmed to think these ways that like smoking's bad people smoke, that type of thing. Um, he was in a rock band, and I wasn't really, taught, oh, rock music is bad, right? Um, he had tattoos. Oh, bad people get tattoos. That's what I was like. I didn't know. I didn't expect that because the image on the television show, what I remember, he seemed like what you call a clean cut kid. I liked his image, his television persona on that show, and yeah, everybody liked him. um, so I didn't watch him as much, but I liked the show. It was a good show overall. Um, but I remember how I felt, and I judged him, and it's superficial the way that I judged, um, and like thinking someone is something just because. Um, and I laugh. I feel like wow, I used to think that way. I don't think that way anymore. I mean, I don't smoke. Um, I don't drink. Um, and I got a tattoo. Isn't that something? Yeah, I see. People are taught certain social things, social etiquettes, social uh, customs, lifestyles, and you make an assessment about those things. What's considered good? What's considered bad? Right? And especially the tattoo. And yeah, I used to think, like what you taught is that people who get tattoos are bad people. And ironically, 4 years, going on 4 years ago, I got my tattoo. I got it on my arm here. And I got the tattoo, not because now I think I'm a bad person, but I got the tattoo because I wanted to break the program of what the lies that I believed growing up, that to judge someone superficial, and I wanted to express myself, and I wanted to break the program. And I think I heard that people who go through certain, like, I heard of this thing called MK Ultra. I know that's a big term, uh, but there's a thing called MK Ultra, and it's to break the person and then rebuild them. And but when people get programmed like that, that some of the things that they try to do to break the program so they will be liberated to be their true self. Um, they may do extreme things. Sometimes they may shave their head or color their hair a different color, tattoos, piercings. It's something to to take. I think it's really symbolic of taking control over what you can control, and your body and what you do to it is a way of saying, I'm going to do this on to myself. And it would be also, such as a tattoo, an outward statement about what you want to break. And so my tattoo primarily, part of the tattoo I have is of myself, and that to embrace oneself. And so I made sure that the tattoo had me in it. It's about celebrating yourself. And so thinking about something trivial and judging someone else 30 plus years ago that they have a tattoo. Um, but back then, I didn't really know people with tattoos, and only the people on TV, the so-called bad people on TV, get tattoos. The act of getting a tattoo is really a neutral thing. Um, it is self-expression, and yes, hello viewer. It is a self-expression, and it's pretty much neutral for that person. Um, it in itself is not good or bad. It's just self-expression that they do upon themselves. Um, but I felt like guilty about how I used to think about things, certain social things, or what's considered good or bad, and that trying to please others, trying to please society, trying to please family or friends, trying to be something, and you can't express yourself. So that's where my mind was this morning when I left to go walking with my dogs. Yeah, I left my place early in the morning, and it was just on my mind. And so I started thinking about other relationships. You know, um, I knew of people in my life, in friends from school, and how, see, you never really know what's happening in people's lives. That's the other thing I was learning about the case with Johnny Depp. That you have people who have private lives. You have the persona or the TV or movie image, and then they have their real life behind closed doors. And watching this case, this trial, it's right in front of me right now. Okay, hope you're able to see it. Yeah, but we have different lives, and sometimes people who you might care about have a different life, and you may not know about it. I was thinking about this classmate of mine from high school. She was a wonderful person. Um, I did back then. Um, yeah, this was in high school. I never discussed anything that happened uh, in my household back then. Never. Um, and I loved my high school, and it was my means of escaping. And I met some really wonderful people in school, and it was a way for me to um, unwind, to talk to people, laugh. And there's this one person that I met, and she was very bubbly and lively, and we just hit it off really, really quick as friends, and we just make each other laugh. And we would have to wait in the foyer of the school, and until it was time for us to enter the classroom. Was at school? I think school back then started at 7 o'clock or 7:30, so we were there early, and many of us were in the foyer, waiting for the doors to open for class. And one day, excuse me, sorry, sorry about that. Yeah, I get all these. Sorry about that. I get all these calls, all these electronic calls. Get someone from other countries calling up. It's like a recording. I apologize. Yeah, so this person that I knew, yeah, I realized that, wow, I said, you know something? I don't even know your name. I said, we're talking for a month now, and we don't know each other's name. And we just would continue laughing about that. Um, but this person, years later, um, it was after graduating, and yeah, I had been to this person's home before, um, but there were problems. There were problems in our household. Um, a lot of at least verbal violence. Yeah, one of the parents was very. She had a problem, and she didn't like open the door. I didn't know whether um, because of our color. Um, I don't know, but she didn't like opening the door for me. But eventually they would open. Someone would open the door, and my friend would be there. We used to hang. We went to, yeah, they had a party before, but either with this one person, I remember we went out. This was maybe 3 years after graduating from high school, and it was like a club or a bar club. It served drinks, and it had music there, and it was cramped and everything. And again, this person um, always treated me with respect, never tried to shame me or curse me or mock me. She was a good person to me. But I would learn about her other side. I remember um, we were all sitting at a table. She introduced me to some of her friends there. They seemed like okay people, and her future husband was there. Yeah, we were all sitting down, and then the drama. And again, I've never seen this side in this person. And they started to berate the boyfriend. And I didn't have a boyfriend back then, but I know you don't do that to your guy. You don't say that to a man in public. Whoa, I couldn't believe it. And I think when she said it, my mouth dropped. I was like shocked. And then she looks at me and says, "Oh, you didn't know I was like this, didn't you?" Something like that. She said, yeah, look at this. This is the real me type of look. And yeah, that's when my mouth dropped. And I said to myself, I'm not going to see this person again. Uh-uh. See, yeah, I considered her a friend. And like what Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And she showed that. And she wanted me to see that. This was someone who I valued, but she wanted me to see that. It was calculating. She did it to her fiance. It was to a fiance and other people. Now, it's something you say behind closed doors, but in amongst your peers. And what does she get out of it? And I said to myself, I won't be seeing you anymore. She does eventually marry the person, like a year later, and I and other people were invited, and it was a good wedding. Yeah, eventful. No bad events, whatever. It went smoothly. But but I never saw her after that, and so it was shocking to me. It's someone who I know, who I thought I knew, and other things that I started remembering and analyzing about behavior. And I'm thinking about that person who I know and this Johnny Depp trial that's on right now. Here, in trial, he's saying that he was being physically abused by her. Um, she had faked getting her nose injured in an altercation, and she shows him this tissue, took out a tissue from her nose, and it was a little red on the tissue, and she threw it in the garbage. Well, she walks out the room, according to him, uh, and he picks up the tissue, and it's not blood, but red nail polish on the tissue, scratching him, punching him in the head, and allegedly, okay, this is a trial. What do you call it? A defamation case. I hope I just said right up. I hope he wins. He seems very believable. Yes, people say he's an actor, and again, she's an actress. I I, I believe him. Everything is just flowing what he's saying. It sounds believable, and I'm thinking about the people who I know. There are people out there who have serious problems, and I had to live with somebody who I thought was abusive. They would say things to me over the phone and try to pick fights. And I care deeply for this person. And I think that's also why I felt a little triggered. Why when I went outside today to walk my dogs, it was heavily on my heart. This Johnny Depp case, a defamation case. Um, some people have problems, and they um, want to pick a fight. And I see like how Johnny Depp handles things. He tries to avoid situations. Um, he'll try to, he did discuss about his childhood. He had his sister speak on his behalf what the environment was like growing up, and he's never hit a woman. He had an extremely violent mother growing up, and how people, yeah, that also triggered me. That that people like this person that I knew from school, their mother was violent. When had fights with the husband. The husband was really meek and quiet, and she was a devil. Um, and I wonder about people like that. And he kept an immaculate house, immaculate. Everything was their lawn was perfect, their home was perfect, but inside the house it was chaos, stemming from her, things that I witnessed. I never said anything. I pretended nothing was going on, and that again I was just young, and this was what it was. But what if you're living with someone? I again think of myself personally, uh, growing up. I too try to avoid situation. I try to perfect avoidance. I try to not be in the same room as a particular person. Um, and you got verbal abuses, things like that. Yes, good evening. I mean, good afternoon. Thank you for the thumbs up. Um, yeah, you had to survive. And again, like growing up in school, we never talked about what was going on in their homes. And the then friend that I had, you think everything was perfect. So when it was an opportunity to laugh, to have fun, that's what we did when we were outside. Who wants to remember what's going on back at home? But back at home for her, it was hell for her. And unfortunately, um, she adopted the style of that parent of hers. And it's something why people would choose something like that. I think pe- people like to feel empowered. And they may not have been king or queen in their house, but they decide for themselves when they grow up that they are not going to be a victim anymore, but unfortunate, rather than choosing a righteous, and I'm not trying to sound religious per se, but rather than choosing a love, they copy the lifestyle, the attitude of their abuser. They become abusers, and um, and I think this is a shame because this person, you would never know people. I've worked with people, and we got along so well. That a coworker of mine, we would laugh together, we would talk and share, stories. And one day, she too revealed um, her other half. She had two daughters from different guys, and it was the older child that she would take it out on. A beautiful child, beautiful looking child, really sweet. And the daughter, met the mom outside. We were all, I was standing next to the mom outside, my coworker, and the young daughter comes up because school was over. These are little children. She might have been 10, and the mother, my friend, was calling her ugly and other horrible things. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And this is someone that I see every day. Um, was raised in I think, was she raised in, oh, she will later get involved in this church thing. Wow, you would never know. I was physically there, standing with them. And I said, wow, you have people for whatever they take out. See, I think with her, see, she had two children. The older one was from her first marriage, and then the second one from her new boyfriend. That the second child might have been 5 years old, and she never said anything against the little child, but she took out her frustration. Her relationship with her boyfriend was was not good. The boyfriend was cheating on her with numerous women. Um, so she doesn't want to, I guess, admit that, hey, she should get out of this relationship. But she took all her anger out on the oldest child. And this is, I guess, um, a mechanism, a coping mechanism of you can't handle certain things, so you take it out on something that can't fight back. And like with Johnny Depp here, um, he's he learned early in life because he had a very abusive mother. Uh, she's since passed away. Um, he learned to avoid people, just and eat your lumps, so to speak. And I think with myself that I just try to, the same thing, just try to avoid. And I remember when I got my first place, I was so full with joy. It was in a very poor neighborhood in way, way uptown. But I loved it because it was my place. And in fact, um, uh, a person that I knew helped me get that apartment, loaned me money for the down deposit. She had actually offered, just, hey, 'cause I think I told her about my interest in moving. She said, oh, if you need money, I could, and be careful. I'm sharing this, I think. Be careful of people. Yeah, I hardly knew her. Yeah, I hardly knew this person. And she's offering if I need help. You know, that's a game also. That was her game. Yeah, be careful. That's a whole story in itself. But yeah, I was able to get my apartment, and I paid back that person right away. Um, yeah, I was so pleased. I wanted my own space. It's very important, people. If you were under abuse growing up, or you in a bad relationship, some people come from really nice homes, but they hook up with a boyfriend or girlfriend that is havoc, that is problematic. You have people who want to pick a fight, um, and they get frustrated, and the more you stay passive, the more angry they get. They want you to blow up at them. And listen to Johnny Depp's story. Um, it was just escalating. His father, Johnny Depp's father, was the same way, just kept quiet and took the lumps. And I think with women, or people in general, when you show what might be perceived as weakness, it frustrates them. They say, act like a man, have some balls. It frustrates them more, actually. But you don't know what to do, because some relationships, you try to find reason between the madness, what will prevent the less pain. And some people you can never figure them out. And other people abuses that I had, and they too had a parent that was very problematic. And I think that's why in part that I stayed single. Because see, you really never know what to expect. You may wish for the best in a relationship, and you have people who prey on your good nature. That's also what I see in humanity. You have people who seek out people who they want to devour, that they want they seek out people who they could beguile. Um, they want you unexpected, you know, trusting, and then it happens. They start to, so you really start to wonder what's making these people act the way they do. I think some people do what they do. They they were abused. Hurt people. Some people who are hurting hurt others. People who hurt other people. And I think some people who may have grown up, let's say in a good home, they like want to make things happy. You know, it's not your job to make people happy. That woman that he was married to, it's not your job to make people happy. Happiness comes from within. You can't make someone into what they're not. Because what will make someone happy may make someone depressed. It's something that's within them. You could, yes, be polite, say words of encouragement, be a so called good person. But you cannot make someone happy. And I think some women and men, they get in these relationships. Now, people seem to forget what courting is all about. Is it courting is about finding out, is this marriageable potential? What are you compatible? Do you get along? What are their values? All these things. But it seems like now, in this type of society, that courting is to be fake, to pretend to be something that you are not. And even when it's written on the wall, what they're all about, you try to make an excuse. We make excuses for bad behavior. The courting process to find out, or the dating process to find out what the other person is all about. Do you have same interests? Or are your goals the same? These things are important. But we force ourselves in these relationships because we want to pretend and create a false image, like Hollywood. Oh, I don't have someone on my arm, walking arm in arm. All my other friends have somebody. Well, a lot of their other friends are in bad relationships. We're not honest sometimes with one another. We force ourselves in relationships to tell a story to people. And I think it's time for us to start telling stories to other people, trying to convince people of something that's not true. Why waste your time to try to convince people that you're in a good relationship? If you find out you're not compatible, just say, it's not going to work out. We're not compatible. But anybody wants to force themselves in these, these emotions. It ain't working. Yeah, just listening to this trial. Um, Crazy. And I've heard of stories of people who are married, um, punching, waking up and punching, beating up the other person, or punching a hole in the wall, or using an axe to axe them through a door. Well, the other, partner was sleeping. People, why do we do that? Why would you want to do something crazy like that? It's uncalled for. When you start to feel that angry or you don't trust someone, leave. You think your partner is having an affair or something like that, confront them first And if you don't trust them, just fucking leave. Excuse my language. Just leave. Your job is not to try to change that person. Once you find out about that person, or if you have doubts about that person, leave before you have children together. But we want to stay, and it makes things worse. And yeah, so remember, this person I'm thinking about. Um, I try to avoid them still, and it seemed like as time went on, yeah, they too had a double lie, a double, facade. Yeah, you have people who can look like good people. They're intelligent. They dress appropriately. They live in a nice community, but they are devils. And I used to think maybe time, forgive and forget. And you want to give them a second chance, and the same pattern. This aggression. Um, uh, it starts off subtle, and they start to, they're trying to insult you, belittle you. And, sorry. Yeah, I get all these weird calls. Sorry about that. So, yeah, and I think this is what was making me sad too, earlier. I'm thinking about this person, and I care about the person, but I see that they're never going to change. And I think when they see me, this resentment, I'm watching this girl, this with the case. Johnny Depp on the left and his ex on the right. Yeah, and just watching her face, it's like this sad look. What would make a person do what she allegedly did? This other person that I know, they never changed. And as life goes on with this person, um, they, they try to pretend around other people and even sometimes even get people against me. Because they would come to me and say, oh, you should treat so and so better. I never said it, a thing. Never. Always kept things to myself. Yeah, so you have um, sneaky people, people who have two sides to them. They're highly intelligent people and they're snakes in nature. They know how to present a socially um, respectable image. It's just an image or veneer. But behind closed doors, there's something else. They're violent. They can be physically violent, verbally violent. And I see that initially I was just being passive. And I didn't understand why the aggression kept on increasing and increasing as time went on. Um, I don't know. I think, see, sometimes in family dynamics, a person might have been abused. I saw in a situation. I mean, I'm just speculating. I was I met someone when I was in the military, And my friend in the military had children, little children about eight, 9, 8, 10 years old. And we're in the car, in my friend's car, and she had to just go get something, get out the car, get something, come right back. And right when the mother left, my friend left, the little girl started hitting on the little boy, her brother. I said, "Why are you hitting him?" She said, "I don't know." I didn't tell the mother anything. But later on, when I got out of the military, me and the mother were talking on the phone. And the mother was sharing with me things that were going on in their household. The mother, she had a mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law was jealous of her and would try to weasel in the relationship or try to be overly affectionate to the son. It was really weird what she was telling me. But yeah, I could see something like that happening. Um, but guess what? Um, the father was going into the little girl's room, and I guess um, I it sounded like she was saying he was violating his daughter, little girl, and she was saying the mother was telling me something about that. Um, and then guess what? The husband comes in the room where she is when she's talking to me and screaming, "Who are you talking to on the phone?" Blah 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 blah. She says, "I'm sorry, I gotta go now." She was a nice lady. You have people who are living lives. They could be married. They could be nice people, but they could be married to witches and warlocks. But they want it covered. They don't want people to know. Oh, why I mentioned that? So I think that's what was going on. The little girl couldn't take what the father most likely was doing to her, and so she acted out and attacked her little brother when the mother wasn't there. Wow, these are little kids. She may not have understood why she was hitting her brother, but how people uh, cope. And again, hurting people can hurt other people. You could make a choice in your life. You say, I don't like what that person did to me growing up, but I'm not going to be like that. And I choose to do something contrary, to do something completely opposite. Maybe they might volunteer to help hurting people, just something contrary. Or you could become a chameleon and attack other people. People like that, they don't get better. They're really sneaky, some of them. They can say really nice things in public to people, in front of people. Because, see, they want to be heard because they're deceivers. And when no one's looking, they attack. And I've seen this. They could be young or old, male or female. They could be of any race, religion, nationality, political party. I start to wonder what is triggering this type when it's so severe, when they're like crazy. Remember, what was that? I think it was 2 days ago. I did that video regarding those. I talked about the orbs and that video on Farsight, the organization called Farsight that does the remote viewing, and they remote viewed uh, this particular president of some foreign country and what was influencing them, and they drew it as like little balls. They were like any energy, consciousness in the form of energy, in the shape of it was little round balls. That's how he drew it. But they can attach itself to your wiring, so to speak, your mind. You have things that could control your mind. You have what they showed on that same program in the remote viewing, the reptile. And the reptile, according to them, was in charge, it has a whole network on this planet, according to them. And they influence. They have a whole hierarchy, different, like generals. He served almost, I guess, like a president, this reptoid, and then they had other beings, and the ones on the bottom were these little spheres. But you could think of them, maybe because you heard of what they call astral projection, and you know that the Third Reich went into Tibet to get the monks there, those Buddhist monks who do those meditations. And I think they're being used, something, maybe they want to, I'm not sure whether they utilize their ability to meditate or to teach them the techniques. I don't know. But either way, they were utilized by the Third Reich. And so I'm wondering, was this technique that the Tibetan monks utilized, is this what was being utilized to influence the modern day presidents that I talked about on 2 videos ago? You really have to start thinking what's going on, because see, the behaviors in these people, it's like happening over and over again. It crosses boundaries, and there is a hierarchy. So you start to wonder, why are we acting the way we do? Why? Why do you think this lady woke up one morning and said, "Oh, I'm going to really screw my husband. He makes a lot of money. I don't have to do a damn thing. I just sit back, relax, look pretty for parties." But she is ruining him, sabotaging him. Why do we sabotage people? Are some women or spouses jealous of their spouses? Yes, I think some spouses are jealous of their partners enough to even sabotage. Yes, when they feel that the person is moving along without them, you know. But they have a career too. That Johnny Depp's former wife. Um, but we're hurting one another, and I'm really thinking that what is happening is that they like in the movie The Matrix. See, Hollywood does share some of its secrets, I believe. And what is the secret? Your energy is a secret. Is the secret. They could manipulate you, control you to do things because they feed off of your anger. And people like his alleged wife, alleged behavior, um, feed off of negative energy. And so what they do is try to provoke fights. It's people who do like substance abuse. I had to share a room once with a person who did, who took painkillers. And I mean, what that person does is their business. Um, this was back in Hawaii, and I know she was trying to pick fights, and it's like, wow. I feel sorry for people in prison or jail because they can't get out, and you have people when they're stressed out, they want to take it out on somebody else. But you know, people, you need to take a chill pill. Just stay quiet. Go in a corner. Close your eyes and just create a world in here for yourself. Create a world inside your head. This is a prison planet, I think, in my opinion. But you don't have to. You don't have to attack somebody. You know. Um, I think sometimes what could trigger someone, like when I think people start to see the weaknesses in themselves and other people, and they can't take it, and so they start attacking, which is they really attacking themselves. Yeah, so I think it's time to just take a deep breath, and if it's getting too tight a relationship, it's no judgment. Just leave. Just say, I don't think we're good for each other. Let's separate or whatever. Um, and even in friendships, sometimes the people that we were friends with, sometimes relationships change and you have to go your own way to save your peace. And again, it's not your job to make somebody happy. You better be getting in a you should already be happy and content with yourself before you go in a relationship, because then you're going to depend upon others to entertain you, to do you have to be content with yourself. Yes, we're human beings and we may get lonely sometimes and we may not want companionship. But even with companionships or hanging out with someone, some of this time that you need to just, call it a night, you know? Um, you need your space. You need your space. So I guess in thinking back with what's happening with this case I'm watching right in front of me with Johnny Depp and his ex-wife, that sometimes we get involved with people and they have another side to them. And as I shared earlier, I had friends and they had another side to them. When someone shows you who they are, believe them and try to get out. And and that's not even always easy. Also, sometimes when you leave, they get angry when you leave, and I've experienced that also. Yeah, so sometimes you don't win, but it's better, I think, to leave and just try to be very graceful about it. Just say, hey, I'm busy these days, or something's come up, whatever. I need to get my head together, but it's nothing personal. Because people have feelings too. Yeah, try use wisdom in your situation, whatever it is. When you see someone who what they're really about, and if it isn't in alignment with what you represent for yourself, it may not be a good match. It may not be good for you to stay, and it's move. That's how I work. If something is really against my thinking, at least I'm going to limit my exposure to that person or situation. Um, because I think if you stay in, you're going to start blaming yourself that something's wrong with you. And that's how the enemy works. They start to make, the victims start to think that they are the problem, yet they're the victim. Don't let it get that far. Don't. Don't let it get that far. Um, Yeah, when you start to doubt yourself and you think, oh, someone's beating you up, slapping you, punching you, and you start to blame yourself, get out. Get out and start loving yourself. Let those other people, let them get the therapy. Let them get their head worked out. Get out while you're still alive in a situation. Don't let people abuse you anymore, even if it's family. You may have to just cut the cords and try to keep yourself busy, whatever, and motivate yourself to not fall back. And, and and don't think that no one else is going through the same thing. See, people are afraid to leave these relationships because they think that everybody else's relationship is perfect. They could be going through the same thing you are, and everybody's staying quiet and pretending everything's perfect when it's not. There's a lot going on in people's lives, and they have their double life. They know that on the outside they look perfect, perfect education. The house looks wonderful, but it's chaos. It's chaos. Yeah, yeah, it is shocking. It's shocking. Yeah, life and its paradoxes are could be quite shocking. So that's what I wanted to share today. Yeah, that was on my heart throughout the day watching the Johnny Depp trial. Yeah, I was a Johnny Depp fan. I used to watch him on 21 Jump Street, and I liked him. And he did something. He was acting cuckoo. I his Pirates film. I might have seen maybe two of them, but I'm really not into for several reasons the Pirate series. Um, but I like um, he did some like humorous stuff. He played this quirky guy. I like quirky characters. Um, Playful. Um, yeah, and I think I might buy one of his movies called what was that? The Tourist. I might watch one of those. Yeah, yeah, in support of him. Yeah, I believe him. I believe Johnny Depp in his testimony. He's very compelling. Um, I don't believe. Yeah. Again, I never met him in person, nothing like that. Um, he sounds very believable. Um, I want to stand behind him. Um, yeah, it's a shame. Sometimes the people who we love can hurt us. Don't let it get that far. If you find yourself in a relationship and you start to hit, punch, kick, scratch, uh, defame others or your loved ones, don't let it get that far. Just leave and just be separate. Just stay by yourself. Go to a therapist. Get the help you need. Stop hurting people around you. Stop and find out the source of your pain and get it healed. Get it worked out. We all have issues. We all have issues, and even famous, rich people have problems. Yeah. If you're broken, get fixed somewhere. Okay. I thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. I let me see if someone wrote a message. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, someone wrote a message here. Okay, I see that. Williams wrote, oh, great day wishes to you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Williams. And hey, Sophia. Thank you, Sophia. Okay, high spirit. Heading off to bed, but we'll play back tomorrow. Good to see you. Yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, I haven't heard from them in a while. Yeah, it's good to hear from you too. Yeah, so I'm gonna be ending this live stream. I thank you all for listening, and yeah, um, if you see yourself acting out and getting aggressive and stuff like that, it's time to maybe just back away and find out what's going on, what's triggering you. You know, maybe it's those little ball things I'm telling you about that can attach itself and make us act out. Yeah, be careful. Thank you again for listening, and I wish you all a wonderful day, okay? Peace and love to you. Yeah, it's a fight out there, but we will win, okay? Thank you again. Bye bye.